Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something kind of cool that I stumbled upon, and I stumbled upon it. This is not something I sat down and reasoned out and did some research and said, I wonder if this was something I just kind of stumbled upon. So I'm going to take you guys on my journey. Spent all day yesterday collecting videos and testing this stuff, and I think it's something that's really, really valuable. If you've been struggling with slip lead work and have been finding that there's just some dogs are just too sort of hard-headed to just too immune to leash pressure, and you've said, well, we've got to go up with the prong, or you got to e-collar or something like this. This may help out a lot. This may, and I'm not to bash the prong or the e-collar. That's not what I'm about. But this may be an option that you want to explore. I think it's worth knowing. I really, really am happy with what happened. I'm actually very excited about this. But I'm going to take you on the journey I went on, because I think it's important to understand how this came about. I'm not just going to go, oh, here's this cool thing. I'm going to tell you where it came from. So it started with Toronto. I saw, a lot of trainers are understandably upset about the new Toronto law banning e-collars, prong collars, choke collars, all that stuff, and I'm totally behind you guys on that. I think it's a terrible law, but I wanted to find a way to help, right? And the people in Toronto are working hard to fight this legislation, and I'm hoping they succeed. But in the meantime, trainers still have to help dogs and earn a living. And so I started thinking, like, what if I were to really focus on working with the flat collar, developing strategies for the flat collar that will help, dog trainers with some of these tougher dogs, and not to replace the tools that they want to use, but something to help them continue to help dogs while keeping, while obeying the law. And instead of saying it can't be done, let's see if we can help people do it. So that's what I started doing. So it so happened that on Tuesday I had 3 dogs coming in here, or 3 dogs who were starting their board and train, or their training programs, 1 board and train, 2 drop-off trainings. But as part of that, I decided I wanted to see what I could do with a flat collar on those dogs. And so I put each of them on a flat collar, and I began to work with them. And expecting that it was going to be a lot of work. It was going to be I was going to have to come up with new strategies and new techniques, and really get a different feel for the dogs. And so I was prepared to do that. What I found, though, was that of those 3 dogs, and I understand 3 is a very small sample size, it's statistically irrelevant, I get that, but I'm going to talk about that more a little bit. But what I found was that with these 3 dogs, 2 of them seemed to respond better than I would have predicted they would have responded on a slip lead. The flat collar appeared to be more effective. Now again, it's a hard thing to say because I didn't work these dogs on a slip lead to have a direct comparison, but I've been doing this a while now, and I have a pretty good sense of what kind of struggles a dog is going to give me, what kind of difficulties they're going to present. And these dogs, maybe they were outliers, but they responded better to the flat than I think they would have to slip. And this was a little bit disconcerting for me because I'm the slip lead guy. And so I started really trying to think about why that was, and what I could do with that. So the next day, the board and train dog I had, we got him out, we put him on a flat collar again, and again, he was very, very responsive to it. And Emily, one of our other trainers here, says, hey, what do you think would happen if you put him on a slip lead? Like, too bad we can't compare the slip lead to the flat collar with this same dog because you're already conditioned with a flat. I said, well, yeah, but we can kind of gauge it a little bit. Let's put the flat slip lead on him, see what happens. Well, I got to tell you guys, his slip lead work was beautiful. Like, when he was on, I've never seen a dog on day 2 with a slip lead be as responsive. So I'm talking, I could just lay that leash right across my finger and just move it like this, and he'd follow. Not following the finger, but following the leash pressure, because he was looking away, but he would feel the little shift in the weight, which is what I've been telling people for a while now. That's what we want with a horse. When you're training a horse, you don't want that lead rope tight. You want the horse to follow the slack rope. So he was doing that for the most part. However, when he would get really into something, he just shut the slip out. He had no awareness at all of it. It was just completely gone. But put a little pressure on the flat collar, got his attention back. And so I started, I started doing this thing where I had him on both leashes, one leash attached to this flat collar and that slip lead, and I was alternating between the two pressures. And it became a really subtle, really fun little dance where you're trying to feel what the dog is doing and react and create this nice interaction between these two pressures. So with the dog, when the dog was really checked out, I found the flat collar was more effective, but when he was checked in, the slip lead was more effective. And so this started a line of thought. Now it just so happened, well, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let you watch the video of me working with this dog and figuring this stuff out. This is an important origin story. We got some ways to go. We're not done with this story yet. We got some ways to go, but this is an important origin story. So take a look at that, and then I will join you after that, and I'll talk about what happened next. So of course, as soon as I start the camera rolling, good. Okay. Yes, good. Beautiful. Good, look at that. Good, look at that. Second lesson. Not even going to grip the leash most of the time. Good. Yes. Good boy. Beautiful. Honey. Nope. Good. Nope. Good. So let's switch back to the flat and see if that works better at the door. Good. So I think when the dog is really new, when the dog is really still kind of new and really dedicated to, or really driving towards a distraction, they think the flat gets a faster response. But once we get him out of that sort of drivey phase, the slip becomes a lot more, because what I can't do with him on the flat is I can't just use that pressure like I can on the slip. I've got to grip it. So now let's go back to the door with a slip. So switch to the flat. And as soon as I switch to the flat, I can feel him pulling a lot less. When I try to use the slip, I feel him lean into it a little bit more. Because he's really kind of good. I'm playing this game where I'm switching between leashes. So this will be the flat. He sees that ball in there. He's like, I want to put it in. Okay, so after that I began to think, now I'm still at this point in time going, well, this may be an anomaly, this may be a fluke, I'm not sure I can count on this. So we had more work to do for sure. But just so happened that yesterday I had two dogs coming in that really frustrate me on the slip lead. These are two dogs that I have. The first one that I'm going to show you here is Siegfried. Now, Siegfried, I I actually recommended a prong collar for. He was resistant enough to the slip lead that I wanted to do a prong on him, but the owner just wasn't going to do it. He was just like, no, I want to do it this way. I don't want to do that to my dog. He let me put the prong collar on the dog. He worked with it, and he goes, yeah, but no, I think we can do it this way. I'm patient enough that I want to do it this way. And so we've been making steady progress with this dog, but in no way is the progress he's made on the slip leads something I'm proud of. Like, he's one of those dogs that, you know, and this is why sometimes when people say, oh, you need a prong collar to train a dog, I'm like, well, not necessarily, but it does make it a lot easier. And this is a case where this dog would do a lot better with the prong. But we're making slow and steady progress, but still nothing exciting. Like, it's bad dog training in my opinion. Oh, it's bad. He's not trained to a standard that I would like to see him for the time he's been working. We're working hard, but the prong would have made things a lot easier. But you know what? The guy's willing to keep coming. I'm willing to keep working with him. And so he was coming in yesterday. So he got here, and I said, hey, I want to try this thing. So we put a flat collar on him, or actually, he had a flat collar attached with a leash to his flat collar. You take all the slip lead. I start doing this dual leash thing. Within minutes, I have as much, if not more, control of him with that dual apparatus than I did when that one time you only put the prong on him. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Really, really nice work. And again, I'm getting excited about it because I'm seeing this dual leash thing as being a real thing. So as I was working with him, I began to describe it to him this way, that we use the flat collar as the brake and the slip as the steering. So when he's trying to pull forward, we apply the brake, and then we use the slip, lightly use the slip to steer him, to get him to turn. And that's a pretty good metaphor. There's some problems with it, but it's a pretty good metaphor for starting out. So we put this together. Oh my God. It was like I'm going to show you the video and you may go, oh, that's not that impressive, but if you understood this dog, Nate Shepard, a trainer down in Springfield, Illinois, he worked with this dog. He knows what I'm talking about. I sent him the video, and he's like, oh my God, I'm going to go try that. We'll talk about his work in another video. But he went and tried it, and he experienced much of the same stuff. So good stuff there. So now it's even another trainers trying it. But anyway, take a look at what we did with Siegfried, and then I'll meet you back here, and we'll talk about the last dog of the day yesterday. All right. Nope. Yes. Yes, good. There's definitely some handling tricks that I need to work out a little bit more smoothly. But this is proving to be really super effective. But this is the most responsive he's been when distracted by another dog. Yes, good boy. Like ever. Like since I've been seeing him, this is the least conflict we've had over other dogs. Yes. Siegfried. Yep, I'm out of here. So like this, like if he's laying down, I don't want to constrict around his airway. Since he's laying down, I'm going to use the flat collar for that. And then once he's moving, then I'll use the slip lead to steer him and get him to turn his head again. Good. Beautiful. Beautiful. There we go. Yes. Sit. Oh, good boy.
Oh, tomorrow then.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, good.
And to think, when he was little, I used to let him off the leash,
Mm-hmm.
and he would just stick close to me. Now, he would just run off.
Yeah. Poorly. He's calmer now too.
Like,
This is a good trick.
He's fast.
Look at this.
Oh, do you have a good day? Did you have a good
Oh,
day?
that's like out there and he's staying with me.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that. Yes, what a good boy. Okay. All right, so after Siegfried and after Nate did his research, I had one last dog, and this dog is Ollie. And Ollie is, he's like Siegfried. He's just a big old knucklehead. Nice, lovable dog. He's not aggressive at all, but he just has no interest in like leash pressure. And I had recommended the e-collar for him. Took them a while to get convinced, but they started doing it. We did one session with the e-collar before what you're about to see. But the owners were told not to practice it at home. He was on an e-collar. He was still above their skill level a bit. So I wanted to get them a little bit better handling before I had them try and use an e-collar on the dog. So that's where we were. So they brought the dog in, and I saw him on my schedule. I said, I got to try this. So I asked the woman, I said, listen, I know we're doing the e-collar. I know you bought an e-collar, and we'll keep doing that, but I want to try this thing with Ollie today. Was that okay? And she said, oh, yeah, sure. She was totally down with it, totally cool, excited about it. And so we put a flat collar on him, did the dual leash, and again, the change was remarkable, dramatic, amazing. I'm so happy with what happened. So you can see in the video, he's wearing an e-collar, but it's not turned on. As a matter of fact, I could, it's like, I could put my whole hand between there. But I didn't even know it, or I would have taken it off, because somebody's going to look at the video, oh, the dog's wearing an e-collar. Trust me, the e-collar wasn't on, had nothing to do with it. He did amazing, and then we took him outside. And this was the big test, because, outside's a lot harder. Took him outside, beautiful response, beautiful response. Good. Okay, good. All right. So there we go. Not much response to the slip lead. I mean, better than it used to be, but still not great. So I'm gonna hold him for a second. All right, good boy. So the flat collar is the brake, and the slip lead is the steering.
It's like a horse.
Boy. So let's set the same distraction as we did before. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Let's go. Beautiful. Good.
I know, because we were walking with him. He's doing good. We've been practicing.
That's good. Let's try another distraction. Yes. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. This is crazy ridiculous.
I know, because we've been practicing, I told you. Aggie just came out of his crate, so he should be super crazy right now.
This is a huge, like literally, I just came up today. I figured this out
Yeah.
today.
It's like a horse, yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah, keeps it from flexing or twisting.
That's amazing.
Otherwise,
I think I'm not gonna find
And no shock collar. I mean, he's got a shock collar on, but you're not.
Is he wearing it?
Yeah, he's wearing the collar, but there's no, I mean, it's not on.
Oh, yeah. Better take that off. People are gonna say, oh, you just zapping. Well, they can see. Oh, that's not.
It's not even on tight,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
We just attached it to a thing and we calmed down at home and it didn't.
Oh.
They're still acting crazy with it on.
Let's just take it off to prove that it's not the.
Not the shock collar.
Yeah.
as long as it works, it's actually
Just take it off. It's not even turned on.
No.
I'm gonna show it to the camera.
Okay.
No flashing light. Not on. Not on. Again. So when he's leaning hard, I use the brake. And then when he starts to Ollie. Ollie. Yes, good boy. So this is huge for it really is. Like this is just simple. This is not Ollie.
It is. I promise. I promise.
This is not the Ollie I know.
Yeah, I know.
So this stuff is really cool, and I'm really, really excited about it. So what's happening? What's happening, and why did it take me so long to figure this out? Well, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking a lot about it. Why is this flat collar, which I have been teaching is not a training tool. I've been telling people the flat collar is not a training tool. It's not a training tool. It's not a training tool. And now I'm having to eat those words. The reasons why I don't like the flat collar for training are the exact same reasons, I think, that the flat collar is good for these really drivey dogs to start. And this is the important thing. I am not advocating here. I'm not advocating here in this video that we work all dogs on 2 leashes in forever. This is a bridge. This is a training aid. All training equipment should be in the business of making itself unnecessary. It should be used specifically with the goal of making it unnecessary, in my opinion. So I'm not suggesting that you tell your clients that they need to be walking their dog with 2 leashes for the rest of their lives. That's ridiculous. I understand. But the power of the slip lead comes from 2 things. One, because it distributes the pressure around the entire circumference of the neck, it's actually less pressure on the trachea. And that's important, I think. However, when you have a dog that leans into it really, really hard, the harder they pull, unlike the flat collar, the harder they pull, the more of a threat I think that slip becomes. And it just so happens that the kind of dogs who are going to pull really hard on a slip lead are generally the kind of dogs who are really going to take a threat as a challenge. So they pull in and they go, oh, you're going to do that to me? Okay, fine, I'll just dig in a little deeper. And so these dogs just get more and more stubborn the more they feel that constriction. The flat collar does not have that same effect. Like, they're so used to that. And it's never had a meaning, I want you to change something. So they just lean into it, and they lean into it, and they don't get into that I'll show you response. I think. I'm just speculating here. I'm not a dog. But so it gets their attention without without directly challenging them. And then when I apply the steering pressure, if you will, it goes, oh, what are you doing now? Okay. And so it's a combination. So, and the other thing is if I can apply the leash pressure to the side on the flat collar, then there's almost no pressure on the trachea because it's going across the other side. So using a little sideways pressure, steering with the slip lead, it's really, really cool. Really cool. So maybe it's just this dog is leaning in this way and he's feeling the pressure right on his throat, and I start to steer him a little bit, start to steer his head a little bit, and that changes the pressure from here to here. He goes, oh, I can turn that pressure off that way. Maybe. I don't know. But what I do know is that two dogs that I have had that have frustrated me on the slip lead, that I have recommended other training tools that are banned in Toronto, got better on the flat collar. Now, this doesn't help Toronto because we're still using the slip lead. But some experiments I want to do, 2 flat collars, different directions, maybe, I don't know. Harnesses and flat collars, maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked into those yet. Right now, I'm pretty excited about what the dual leash with the slip lead is doing. But the thing is that what we're trying to do is keep the dog out of that threat response, right? Keep the dog into a more engaged response, into a more, like, we want to activate the seeking system, not the threat response system. So building this threat response, like this, I think for some dogs, not all, because I mean, a lot of dogs do great with the slip. A lot of dogs just beautiful, right? But I think for the introduction, especially for these harder dogs, teaching that pressure means something, this dual leash thing, it's beautiful. I want you guys to try it. Let me know what you think. Give it a try. It's a little weird. Now you'll notice in the videos there's some handling things that need to be cleaned up because this is new. Like, I haven't cleaned up the handling techniques at all. Like what you're seeing in these videos is me discovering stuff pretty much real time. So play with it. See what you can do with it. I think this is important. I think this is worth knowing. I think it's valuable. And I think every trainer, especially trainers who are looking to use the least amount of pressure, the least amount of force, the least amount of compulsion possible, need to be looking at this, because this is a whole other game as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, if somebody else has stumbled upon this before me, hey, hats off to you. I'm glad. I've not run across this. It's not come through my circle of friends, my circle of trainers. So to me, it's brand new. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. If somebody else has been doing this before, that's great, man. Hit me up. Tell me what you're doing. Show me, give me the pointers. Don't make me reinvent the wheel. But this is good stuff, guys. I'm really, really impressed with it. So I hope you guys are too. give it a shot. And we'll see you around the internet. Bye.